Man, what went down in Miami this weekend? Nobody saw that coming. That wasn't just a game, that was a message to the entire NFL. And the best part? It might have been the turning point we'd all been waiting for. But hold up, there's stuff happening behind the scenes that could flip everything again. Players proving themselves, coaches clapping back at critics, and a locker room that's straight up on fire. You're not going to believe what we've got today. So sit tight, hit that like button, and let's dive right into the news that's about to blow your mind. You know that kind of game that changes the direction of an entire season? That was Sunday. The Miami Dolphins didn't just beat the Buffalo Bills. They flipped the NFL script in Week 10. They came in with 7 straight losses to Buffalo and tagged as 8, 5-point underdogs. But when the ball kicked off at Hard Rock Stadium, it felt like the whole team came out ready to send a collective message. The result? 30-13. And that score wasn't misleading. It was dominance, pure and simple. Statement of revival. Bradley Chubb, who probably played his best game in a Dolphins jersey, dropped one word that became the locker room's rallying cry. Delusional. That's what he called the team's belief. Because to most people, believing in this turnaround would have sounded crazy. But for them, it was about pride. He said everybody had the same mindset. Nobody outside this room believed in us, but we knew what we could do. And you could tell that wasn't just talk. They believed it all the way through. Post-game scene felt more like a party than a team meeting. Tua Tagovailoa and Jalen Waddle were reenacting touchdowns in the middle of the locker room. The defense was yelling like they'd just won a championship, and even the quiet guys were smiling. This was about belief, resilience, and guts. Sitting at 3-7, Miami needed to prove to themselves there was still a season left to fight for. And man, they proved it with authority. Miami opened the game with 16 unanswered points. The Bills, scoreless in the first half, something that hadn't happened since 2007. Achane, the rookie who's turning into a legend before our eyes, tore up the field for 225 yards and 2 touchdowns, one of them a 59-yard dagger that sealed the deal. The defense did their part too, suffocating Josh Allen and turning Buffalo's offense into a punting clinic. Message delivered. Miami's dangerous again. Head coach Mike McDaniel, who's been under fire lately, looked relieved but confident. Gave all the credit to the players, saying the group chose to keep believing and investing in each other. And that's exactly what we saw: a team that played connected, mature, and with the kind of edge the fan base has been begging for. But what really stood out was the emotion. McDaniel looked every player in the eye and said, "Enjoy this because you earned every inch." It hit home. You could feel it. That speech might have been the fuel they were missing. Now, the focus shifts to Madrid, where the Dolphins are about to make history playing the first ever NFL game on Spanish soil against the Washington Commanders. Bradley Chubb summed it up perfectly. It's not delusional. We just showed what we can do, and that Dolphins fans might be the start of the comeback nobody believed in. If anyone still doubted this team could bounce back, they clearly missed the show Miami put on Sunday. That was a statement win, one that silenced the critics, lit up the locker room, and reignited a season that felt lost. The 30-13 score doesn't even tell the full story. This was a team stepping onto the field with a mission to prove they're far from done. And leading that charge was Achane, the rookie who's changing the face of this franchise one cut, one burst, one touchdown at a time. You could feel something different from the very first drive. The offensive line, so heavily criticized in recent weeks, was moving bodies like clockwork. And Achane took full advantage. When he broke through the Bills' line and sprinted 59 yards to the end zone, Hard Rock Stadium exploded. That was the spark fans had been waiting for since September. And in the fourth quarter, he did it again. 35 yards of pure speed and control, sealing the win and possibly flipping the Dolphins' season on its head. He finished with 174 yards and 2 touchdowns, but the numbers don't capture his energy. He played hungry, like he had something to prove to every doubter. And after the game, his comments hit home. When asked about last week's trade rumors, Achane said, "I want to be here. I'm glad none of us got shipped out." It's the kind of mindset this locker room needed. And honestly, that quote belongs on a wall inside the Dolphins facility. Because this win wasn't just technical, it was emotional. After a week filled with speculation and tension, the team responded. The chemistry that had felt lost was suddenly back. Waddle was Loose Tua was sharp, and the defense played with an energy that screamed unity. The locker room finally felt like one again, and the context matters. Before Tyreek Hill's injury, the Hill-Waddle-Achane trio was the fastest offensive unit in football. But speed alone wasn't enough. They lacked consistency, and that was killing them. On Sunday, they found balance. It wasn't just about outrunning opponents. It was about controlling the pace, dictating the flow, and keeping Buffalo on their heels until the final whistle. If this game showed us anything, it's that hope's alive in Miami. They don't have to be perfect. They just have to be dangerous. And with Achane playing like this, with that blend of youth and confidence, the Dolphins are once again a problem for every defense in the league. It might be early, but fans can feel it. Something's changed. And the wild part? This might only be the beginning. If this was the step forward they needed, the next one could be something special. Even off the field, Tyreek Hill remains a heartbeat of this team. He doesn't need a helmet to shift the mood in that locker room, and Sunday proved it. Watching from the sidelines with his injury, Hill turned into the team's biggest hype man, cheering on every play from his guy, Waddle, who flat out torched the Bills for a moment. It felt like the entire team was channeling Hill's energy. And when the cheetah's involved, the impossible starts to feel inevitable. Waddle owned the night in the passing game. 5 catches, 84 yards, and a touchdown that left Buffalo's defense spinning. What made it even sweeter was the timing. It came right after a week of trade rumors and talks about rebuilding. While others speculated, Waddle answered on the field with speed, precision, and swagger. Hill couldn't resist and tweeted what every fan was thinking. Cook that boy Waddle. The bond between those two is special. Since Hill went down in week 4, Waddle stepped into a role many thought was too heavy for him, the WR1. But he didn't just take it on. He's thriving in it. 3 touchdowns in 4 games. Reliable presence, contagious energy. He's growing into a leader right before our eyes. The Miami crowd feels it every time he hits that signature Waddle dance after scoring. Tua, meanwhile, looked calm and in control. His stats weren't flashy 173 passing yards, but his accuracy was back. No forced throws, no panic. He trusted Waddle, and it paid off. The offense finally looked like itself again. And here's the thing. Even without Hill, this Dolphins offense can still be lethal, as long as they stay balanced and confident. That win over Buffalo brought exactly that, confidence. The kind of confidence Mike McDaniel's been preaching for months. It's not about superstars. It's about a team finding its identity again. But there's still a layer of tension underneath. Hill turns 32 when he comes back, and the coaching staff knows time flies in the NFL. Waddle, at 26 and playing the best football of his career, might be stepping into his moment as the new face of Miami's offense. The future's taking shape, and Hill seems to know it too. What we saw Sunday was symbolic. Hill cheering, Waddle shining, and the team rediscovering its heartbeat. The scoreboard told one story, but the real win was emotional. Because now, nobody doubts it anymore. The Miami Dolphins believe again. And if that belief keeps growing, the rest of the league's gonna feel it. Sunday wasn't just a win. It was a statement. The Miami Dolphins reminded the world that heart can't be measured by stats, and belief doesn't show up on standings. Bradley Chubb talked about belief. Achane turned it into action. Waddle lit up the field, and even Tyreek Hill. From the sidelines fueled the fire. That unity brought back something that had been missing. The pride of wearing aqua and orange. Now it's your turn, Dolphins Nation. Is this the turning point of the season? Drop a comment, hit that like, and subscribe, because the best might be yet to come.